Welcome to Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives. My name is Dov Baron. I'm your host here on the show. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know. You may, of course, be joining us as part of the Full Monty Leadership Radio interviews or part of the Mind Mastery podcast. All of those are also available, of course, on iTunes and Podomatic. You can find out more about us and me and specifically what my company does at fullmontyleadership.com. That's Full Monty, as in take off all your gear, fullmontyleadership.com. You can find out more about what it is that we do. Anyway, on today's show, I want to talk about relationships. Now, this is a really important leadership tip because I think it's one of the things that we tend to forget. That leadership is relationship. If you're, as a leader, I want you to think about this. As a leader, your job is to build relationship with everybody on your team. To be the head of relationships, if you will. So just stop for a minute and just think about whatever your position is, what is the quality of the relationships that you have? Do you have relationships that tend to be very professional, somewhat superficial? Or do you actively involve yourself in relationships with the people who are on your team? And do you encourage relationship between them? And when I say relationship, we're not talking about being inappropriate or anything like that. We're talking about actually getting to know your people. You see, whatever business you think you're in, the truth is that you're in the relationship business. Think about any business that has succeeded. It succeeded upon its relationships, whether those are the relationships inside of the corporate culture, whether those are the relationships within the leadership teams, whether those are the relationships between the company and your customers, your clients. All of those things determine the quality, not only the quality, but the quantity of your success. So they determine the quality of whether it's enjoyable to go to work every day, whether it's enjoyable to actually do what it is you're doing. But it also affects the quantity, meaning the level of success that you have. How successful are you? And let's just pretend for a minute that you have a business that is highly profitable, highly successful in all kinds of ways, but every day you're miserable. Every day you go to work, you don't like the people you work with, and they don't particularly like you. Would you consider that a success? Would you consider yourself to having a successful business? Sure, the numbers are right. The numbers say, yes, it's successful, but how do you actually determine success? And I put it to you that we, as human beings, we determine success by the quality of our relationships. So what are you doing to actively improve relationships inside of your organization? We've all understood customer relationship. We've all had that drilled into us. But what about internal relationships? What about cultural relationships? How much work and effort and time do you actually put into that? How much time, money, energy, resources do you spend on building the relationships inside of your culture? I wrote an article that I placed up on LinkedIn a while ago and is also on my blog, and it talked about that in all likelihood, as we move forward, the most important seat at the C-suite table is going to be that of HR, human resources, but not in the sense of what we've known it to be, which is the people who take care of bringing people in and making people get out in a legal way, but really as being in charge of relationships. How much time and money does your company spend on developing the relationships, not only with your customers, not only with your clients, not only with your providers, but how much money do you actually spend, how much resources do you spend on building the relationships inside of the company? Working with a company recently and sitting down with their leadership team to discover that the team get along great. They do get along well. Except within a few months of working with us, seeing how bonded they are because they actually have relationships that are beyond the professional. In other words, they care about each other. Now, what do you know about that in your own life? The people you care about are the people you're loyal to. You want to build loyalty in your organization? You got to build relationship. But relationship doesn't exist without transparency, without the willingness to be vulnerable, to be open, to share who you actually are. So my leadership and loyalty tip for you today is to write down a list of the key relationships, your key professional relationships, and ask yourself what you actually know about each of those individual people. Do you know who they are? Do you know what their partner's name is? Do you know their children? Do you know when their anniversary is? But more importantly, because all those things we all kind of been taught along the way, yeah, these are the things you got to find out. But do you know who they are? What is this person passionate about? What gets them up in the morning? What do they love doing when they're off, when they're not going to work? What is the thing that they will fight for, that they believe in deeply? What sports do they like to do? What are their hobbies? What are the things that they are deeply interested in? What are the things that each of their family members are interested in? What is it that drives them? What is it that gets them out of bed every single morning? And here's the question: when you've done all that with each of those primary relationships, all those significant relationships in your business, ask yourself this question: what do each of those people know about you? Have you bothered to let them in, to share with them? Or are you still running the old idea that everything has to be professional? I want you to know that the face of business has changed. We've talked about this many times before. And being quote unquote professional is still there, but not in the same way that it was. The idea of keeping who you are separate from your business is a ludicrous idea, and it is dying. It is going the way of the dinosaurs. To improve your business, to improve your culture, you've got to work on your relationships. So my challenge for you today is to write down a list of all those key people that you have in your business, whether they are your leadership team or whether they are key clients, key customers, key providers, and ask yourself what you know about each of them and what they know about each of you, or what each of them know about you. And then ask yourself if each of those relationships could deepen, and what you could do to deepen them, what you could do to be a little more transparent, to let them in a little more. And then when your mind tells you whatever it tells you about not doing that, ask yourself this question: how might that improve your business? And more importantly, improve the quality of your business, therefore the quality of your life. Thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Dov Baron. I'm your host here at Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives, part of the Full Monty radio series. And again, if you want to find out more about us, what it is we do, you can go to fullmontyleadership.com, because we align culture to generate loyalty by building authentic leadership. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay courageous and stay curious.